You're watching Fox 45 Morning News. All local, all morning.
Good morning. It is Saturday, February 27th. I'm Mary McKenzie. Great to have you with us this last weekend of February. Parents, kids, listen up. The new SAT test launches next Saturday. There are some major changes to tell you about. David Kim is here with us this morning. He's the CEO of C2 Education, joining us to explain the differences that are seen on this new test and how to prepare for it. And I was telling you that it feels to me as though there have been so many changes over the last few years. It's been one way and then back to the old way and then the new way. And so what is the new way? What changes do parents and students need to know about?
Well, the new way is that the test is actually going to be going back to a 1,600 scoring system, right? So it was 2,400 for the last 10 years. They added a writing section back in 2005. And now they're going to go back to simply a math and verbal section, each out of 800. And then the essay, which was once a mandatory part of the test, will now be an optional part of the test.
What does that mean when they say it's an optional part of the test?
You know, that's a bit of a loaded question. You know, so optional when students are looking to go to the more competitive schools.
Okay.
You know, the essay will still not really be optional, right? You know, those schools, you know, like a Johns Hopkins, for example, will really like to see how a student will be scoring on the essay part of the test. The less selective schools that have actually been ignoring the writing section of the test even over the last 10 years, you know, for them it's kind of a moot point, and so it becomes, you know, there's less test anxiety for the students who would be taking it.
Who may want to opt out of that essay. Okay, so now my test scores will go back to being relevant.
Well, you can compare apples to apples,
exactly.
Right? I'll give my test score and people are like,
that doesn't make
really?
any...
Yeah.
Right, wait a second. So going to a top school, you know, is there, for students who are really wanting that competitive edge, obviously they'll do the essay portion that's optional.
Yes.
Anything else that parents, you know, can do additionally to prepare for the way the new test is going to be, or is it just kind of the same preparation that you would recommend for students with even these new changes?
Well, the new test, in my opinion, and the College Board has said it as well, is a test that's more coachable. It's a test that you can better prepare for than any other test that they've ever put out.
Okay.
And
is that still more so than the ACT?
I would say so on this new test that's coming out.
Okay.
You know, it's less reliant on tricks and test-taking strategies. It's more content-focused. It's more aligned with what a student has learned in school. So there's actually fewer of these SAT-type questions on the new SAT, and it's more like, oh, I learned this in school.
There's relevance to it and context to it. So with that in mind, what can students and parents do to prepare? You know, are there you can't do the tricks and tips necessarily, so it's more about reading, writing, some of the basics. Really.
Absolutely, it's more of a content-driven test. You know, so the reading passages. You know, when you've looked at the sample questions and the blueprint that the College Board has put out, you know, it's on average actually one grade level higher. So having more robust reading skills, having taken more challenging classes in school, and then obviously there's a lot you can do outside of school, right? So. You know, whether it's reading a lot more books, whether it's getting preparation that's really geared toward the content of the test, it's going to put you in a better shape. So it's less, like I said, reliant on you know, kind of the old SAT questions, which would try to confuse students.
Right.
It's much more straightforward.
Good.
You know, you can read it. You can study it. You can practice it.
You can take some classes.
Absolutely.
Ahead of time.
You can take some classes, right? I mean, at C2 we offer some classes. So.
Exactly. All right, David Kim, thank you so much. We could talk about this for quite a while. I'd imagine some really good stuff in there. Good luck to everyone who will be taking it starting next week. Yeah,
it starts next Saturday is the first new one that will be offered.
See how it goes. Okay, fantastic. So spring, just a few weeks away as well.